So this isn't going to be a top lures to catch walleye video because I'll be honest with you, I don't really know what the best lures to catch walleye are. I'm doing the same thing that you've been probably doing, which is going to look at what other people have to say about what the best lures for walleye are. And best lures for anything are all very subjective in the fishing world anyways. The point of this video, I'm going to talk about what I'm going to use on opening day to try and catch these walleye. So walleye opener is fast approaching. We're 2 days away here in southern Ontario for Zone 20, which is basically Lake Ontario and the St. Lawrence River. I've got a spot in mind. With all the municipal boat launches closed, it's a little bit tough to try and get out onto Lake Ontario right now, unless you have like a private launch or something like that, but I found a spot that I hope I'm gonna catch some walleye on. So let's just get into it. So I think the very first lure that I'm gonna try is this buckaroo jig. It's basically just a bucktail hair jig from Northland Tackle. This was the only color they had left at Walmart. This chartreuse and orange color. It's a 1/4 ounce. I think this is going to be the first one. That's one of the ones I'm going to try. The other ones are these little. This one is a Northland Tackle. It is the puppet minnow. This one is like a super glow in the dark one. But I'm going to be fishing in the morning, so it won't really have that much of an effect. I've got this one, and I've got another one of the same style. This one is a Johnson one. They said it was supposed to rattle, but this one, I don't know. They forgot to put the rattle in or something, or it's like all jammed up. This one doesn't rattle, but it still has that nice kind of minnowy action. So I'm gonna try these two. Of course, I do have grubs. I got these 2 packs plus whatever else I have, but these are gonna be the main ones that I try to go to. I had to choose between pink and white or pink and white, so I opted to go for the pink and white mix. These are 1/8 ounce jig heads. I'll give those a try, and the same thing but just in all black. I think something tells me that the all black is going to be a killer. I guess we'll find out. Next, I've got, this is a Strike King Bitsy Bug paired up with a Strike King Rage Swimmer. The little weedless jig. This might be something good to try. I've actually never caught anything on this, not a bass or pike or anything. Which, by the way, pike opens at the same time walleye does in Zone 20, so I mean, I'm kind of going for both, but the target species is walleye. The next thing are, well, of course, these little Rage Swimmers on a grub, like one I have rigged up here already. This is a 1/4 ounce jig head, just paired up with the little swim tail there. I'll be giving this a good go. Soft plastics everywhere. I've got all kinds of soft plastics. I think those are going to be the ones that I catch most of the fish on, because I can get them down into that like 10-foot easier, closer to the bottom. I got a bunch of hard baits here that I'll get into as well, but first I'm going to go over the soft baits. These are Z-Man Twilight, what are these called? Trick Shot Z's. Trick Shots. The Trick Shot. This is the Twilight color. These are really good for drop shotting, and also Ned rigs. But I think I'm gonna pair it up with like a 1/4 ounce or even like a 3/8 ounce jig head and see how that does on the bottom. What I have are these Northland Eyeball metallic jigs. These are a 3/8 ounce, and I think that these are gonna be good with this, because like the Ned rig or like any kind of Ned head, this is going to get it to the bottom fast, and I'm hoping that these are going to have enough flotation to pull the bait up off the bottom and stick straight up, and then when I give the jig a pop, that it'll kind of slow the motion of this 3/8 ounce jig head getting to the bottom. We'll see. That's one. Next, I picked up these little Berkeley Gulp 3-inch 8 centimeter minnows. These are Fire Tigers. I think these are going to be good on a jig head as well. Of course, I have some worms and stuff like that. I've got this Smart Bait color changing. It says it's supposed to change from watermelon to pumpkin seed color under certain conditions. I don't know wet conditions. It just says that they're color changing baits. Activated by water temperature. I've paired this up with the Bitsy Bug, and it looks really nice in the water, but I've never caught anything with it. Next, if I want to go up to like a nice big, what do I have here? I've got these football head jigs. There's one. This is a VMC football head jig. I think that these Zoom worms, these are like the 8-inch, what are these, 8-inch? 9-inch Zoom worms with the ribbon tails. Paired up with this football jig head is going to be good. I might have to use a bigger hook for that. We'll see. I'll give these a go. One thing I've never used ever in my life is a worm harness. But I have this one laying around. I have no idea who makes it, but I've got one, so I might give it a go. And I'll pair it up with these Berkley Power Baits 6-inch night crawlers. Of course, my soft bait arsenal wouldn't be complete without any of my X-Zone soft plastics, which make up about 90% of my soft plastics. I have way more in a bag somewhere, but they're mostly like Senko style stick baits. Not really what I'm looking to fish right now, because most of the X-Zone lures I have are for bass fishing. But these are little swim baits with a paddle tail. These are going to be good. I have these 6-inch whiptail shads, which I could pair up again with that football head jig. I actually have one rigged up right now. I've got a pink one rigged up. This might get some action too. A little weedless. Throw that thing down there, just like that. We'll see. One thing about these flukes is that they're really cool, is that they're sinking baits, but if you pair them with like a nice big hook, this is a VMC wide gap, size 5. You pair that up with one like this. Once you've cast it out, it very slowly floats to the bottom. And the bigger the hook, the faster it's going to sink. But it has like that very slow, tantalizing kind of like, it just kind of drops like that, and it goes down on an angle. And then when you rip it up, it goes up really fast and then comes down again really slow. So I'm excited to see how these are going to work. I've got those in pink, like bubblegum pink, and just a smoked pearl laminate to kind of imitate a minnow. Of course, I have these baby bass X-Zone tubes, which is what I caught that big walleye on last year. I wouldn't really have ever thought of fishing a tube for walleye, but I caught walleye on it, so we'll use it. One bait that I'm really excited about that I got a little while ago for crappie fishing, I haven't actually used them yet. These are little Northland gumdrops. These are floating jigs. So you cast these out with a weight on them and they float. So I'll show you the way I have it rigged up. So the way I've got these things rigged up is, here's one with just like a little, it's blue on the bottom and white on the top, just on a little slip weight. This is just an egg sinker. I put a bead on it to a very small swivel. Actually, if I'm going for a walleye, I might want to up that swivel size. I'll probably just swap out that swivel. But that's basically it. So I can cast this thing out, let it sink to the bottom. This thing is going to float up. I've got, oh, these guys. I'm going to take one of these with me too. This is a little Berkley power bait smelt. These are 3-inch power bait smelts there. Stick that on the back. Let that thing float up and kind of, this is about a foot, I think, between my my swivel and the lure. So if I want to get it up a little higher, I can just give it a little slack and it'll float up while this egg sinker stays down at the bottom. So we'll see how that works out. I don't know. I've never used them before. I'm pretty excited to give it a try. I originally got them for crappie fishing, like I said, but I think it'll work for a walleye as well. And these are very soft too. Like, I don't know if you can see that. Like, They just squish. Next we'll go on to these hard baits. The first one I might try, I don't know if it'll be the first one, but one I've got here, this is a blue fox, just a minnow, a lead minnow with a little bit of a tail here. I've got this one, and I also have it in like a chartreuse white. And these are both glow in the dark, but again, like I said, I'm gonna be fishing in the morning. Probably not the ideal time to catch walleye, but it's the time that I have to go, so that's when I'm gonna go. Try that, give it a go. So I've got a bunch of crankbaits here and a few jerk baits that I'm gonna try. So the first one is this Bagley RB11. I've never caught anything on this. I bought it a couple of years ago, used it a handful of times, but we'll see if this is a pretty big bait. We'll see if they want something like that. This is a Kamuki Smartfish. It's basically just like a lipless crank with one treble at the end, but it's got this lead weighted keel. I've caught pike on this, but that's all I've ever caught on it. Hopefully I can pick up a walleye or something on it as well. But it stands up, it sits in the water like that, and then when you give it a rip, it shimmies up and you can really feel the vibration. And of course it's got a nice rattle too. So we'll give that a go. Next is this bad boy here, this Rapala lipless crank. That's got a really loud rattle, so this should be pretty attractive too. That's a very loud rattle. This would be good for a bit of casting, and oh god, I'm hooked in it. This would be good for some casting, and even if I wanted to do some vertical jigging. My crankbaits, man, I've got a ton of crankbaits here. Most of my crankbaits and most of my jerk baits are all from China, but these two here I got from Bass Pro Shop. It's just a standard crankbait, kind of like a shad style. This is just a red one and a fire tiger. They're very loud. This is a lunker hunt crankbait. This has got a pretty decent rattle as well. We'll see. I just don't know if the fish are really going to be chasing fast moving baits this time of year. I mean, supposedly that's what they do in the spring, but I don't know. I'm bringing it all anyways. Hopefully I don't have to try everything that I'm showing you today to catch a fish, but we'll see. These are some China lures. These are really deep diving crankbaits. They've got like really big balls in them. They have kind of like a deep but loud rattle. These ones are also deep diving. I've got this one. It's like a kind of like a fire tiger, but not really. It's got this very translucent green top with a clear bottom and some black stripes. This one actually looks like a tiger, so I don't know, or like some kind of a golden shiner, maybe something like that. These have a little bit of a higher pitch rattle. We'll see. And of course, red and white. This has been really good for pike for me. This one in particular. Jerk baits. I've got two of these decent sized jerk baits. These are again from China, but I'm pretty sure these are Mega Bass knockoffs, but or Mega Bass just bought the blanks and used these because they look almost identical. I don't know, but we'll see. These have a pretty good rattle, but the dive depth is pretty shallow. These only get down to about 5 feet. So I've got this one. It's not really fire tiger, but it's more chartreuse with this orange belly and kind of like a black and orange top. And this one is just more your traditional minnow style, but it's cool because it's clear. You can see the weights, how they move in there. And these are all suspending jerk baits. It's got two really small beads in here, and it's got two big ones for, I don't know, helps casting, but it also has quite the rattle when it's moving around in there. These three guys here are three of my favorite bass lures. But if I'm seeing that the walleye are up shallow in like 4 or 5 feet of depth, I might start throwing some of these. These are bass slickers. Again, they're from China. But my biggest bass I ever caught, my personal best, was caught off of this guy right here. This this very lure caught my personal best bass. What a great day. And then I've got this thing, again, another China lure, although these ones supposedly are designed in Japan, but I don't know. They came from China. This has a very, very small lip. It's kind of like perch colors. I think this one might do well in shallow water too. That's pretty much it. That's what I'm going to be using on Saturday. Oh, and this guy too. This is just another lipless crank, Bass Pro Shop brand. So whoever makes it, I don't know. But this has caught me everything from perch to pike to bass. Everything just loves Fire Tiger. I don't know what it is. So that's going to be what I'm using Saturday. If there's something that I'm missing that you guys think I should be taking with me, let me know in the comments below. Or what you use. Like, what's your favorite lure to catch walleye on? I'd love to know, because I'm not a very experienced walleye angler. And I really, really intend on catching more this summer. Oh yeah, there's one more bait that I have. I also have this guy here. This is a husky jerk. Suspending jerk bait. I think this is going to be nice in the shallows as well, if I get them up that high. So yeah, that's it. Let me know in the comments below what's your favorite walleye lure, and thanks for watching. Bye.